Welcome, Paper Radio News Hour on this Tuesday. Joe Jacobs solo again. Jason recovering from surgery. I just heard from him. He's doing well. He's doing well. We may even have a Jason sighting as early as tomorrow, but I'm planning on having the whole week here, but I get it. You know what? Sitting at home, you get bored. Right there. I mean, look, if you don't go to work, what are you going to do? Just sit there, especially when you're laid up, right? You can't even, it's not like you go out and play golf or go work out. He's probably just laying around on the couch, but he's doing all right. We'll keep you posted. But the show must go on. It is Tuesday. Listen, this is the calmest day of the week. After today, things are going to get very, very interesting. We've got the Fed meeting. It started. So, they're all, sitting around the conference table. Of course, they're not talking about the stuff you think they'd be talking about. At least that's what they always tell us. Oh, we don't talk about that. We're not talking about that. I don't know what they talk about. But nonetheless, tomorrow, we're going to get the Bank of Japan. Everybody expects them to raise rates. Right. Obviously, the yen has had huge trouble. They've had to intervene constantly. Rumor today that they may not. We'll see. I think they will. We will not obviously be raising rates. I think we're going to set the bar to get ready for rate cuts to come. That's everybody's anticipation, of course. And then we got the Max 7 companies. They start, Microsoft and Apple and Amazon. I think Meta all coming later this week. And plus jobs. We got the jobs. We'll get private sector jobs tomorrow. Then jobless claims on Thursday. Government jobs. So it's going to be a big week after today. But today I think we're setting ourselves up here for a very good situation. We got gold and silver prices higher. Gold sitting there right below $2,400. But I'm anticipating if things go the way I think they're going to go, which is dovish Fed, raising the rates in Japan, private sector jobs are going to be pretty stagnant. And then I think we're going to have the lowest jobs number on Friday. Don't be surprised to see, gold threatening that $2,500 once again. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. We had a few economic data points out. Home prices, and again, always different people do it. Kate Schiller will do it. The government will do it. The Fed will do it. I think Zillow does it, or Redfin, one of those online things. But up again, this was a May number. No surprise there. A little slower pace. So I guess that's good. I actually think between now, we'll see. You know what? I'm going to hold that. I was going to say I think maybe we'll get home prices. Now, some parts, home prices are falling. Without a doubt. Florida, Texas, maybe some parts here in Arizona and other places, but rate cuts, will that spark the housing market? If it doesn't, in other words, let's just say I'm right and the Fed cuts rates in September. If that does not create a spark in housing, I think we're going to see lower housing prices. If it does, we're not, right? If it does, prices will still keep going up. I know it's hard to imagine, but that could be the scenario there. We'll have to see how that plays out. We had confidence. I don't know how this confidence things work. They're supposed to call people on the phone, ask them some questions, and then, check some boxes. They revised last month's lower, and confidence has been bad. But this month it improved, but it actually didn't improve from the last time they put you see what I'm saying. Maybe a little more confident, maybe not. I think the next one could be better if they poll enough Democrats because they're saying Kamala is in the lead. We'll see. I don't know. Listen, I've made my opinion very well felt for a long time. They didn't have them win the last time. They're not going to let them win this time. That's just my call. I have the right to change it, but that's how I feel about it. But then the real big number today was the JOLTS number. Now, JOLTS, for those of you that don't know, they track job openings. Now, here's the problem. Number one, there's a lot of what we'll call fake openings, but doesn't matter, right? This is what they do. It was lower. Wasn't quite as low as they were expecting, but when you looked into the number, it really wasn't very good. Private sector, so non-government job postings, fell across the board. It was pretty rough, and that's kind of what we've been seeing, right? We've been seeing, obviously a lot of bankruptcies, record bankruptcy filings. Now we're starting to see in the consumer space, they're having troubles. But what was incredible, government jobs, these are job postings, surging when in the latest JOLTS number, apparently the only place hiring now is the government. I don't know, but over almost 1.1 million government jobs. Now, is this the IRS? I don't know, right? But state and local, lot of jobs there as well. So this is all across the board with government jobs. Without the big increase in government jobs, the JOLTS number would have been below 8 million, which is something we haven't seen in a long time. Matter of fact, private sector job postings back all the way now to below 2018. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour here on this Tuesday. Quick look in at the market. So we've got a mixed market here. The Dow's up 60. The S&P's down 28. The Nasdaq's down almost 200 points as again, we're going to get the 4 out of the 7 magnificent 7 stocks. The 10-year note at 417. Crude oil down another $1. Take it, right? Crude oil's down another $1. Hopefully they're putting oil in the strategic oil reserve. Gold is higher today. Gold's up 8 right now, $23.93. Silver back above $28 an ounce here, up about 20 cents, just over $28. But I want to reiterate to you guys, I hope you're doing it. I really, really do. I wouldn't tell you to do it if it wasn't necessary, and it is. Get more diversified. I know, but Joe, it's not that bad yet. Yet's the word, right? And we have the election. I mean, all this drama. Think about it. We said this was going to be the year of chaos. I mean, we've had an assassination attempt on Trump. Joe Biden, went back into his basement and decided to not run. And now we got Kamala Harris and, I don't know, white guys raising money for Kamala. I mean, we got all kinds of stuff. We got war everywhere. It's the Olympics. I'm going to tell you, it always ends the same. I didn't create this cycle. You didn't create this cycle. The central bankers created this cycle. They decided they would rather have boom and bust. Instead of allowing for things to play out the way they should, right? They always try to say, oh, we're trying to prevent the pain. But really all this they do is make it so much worse. And that's what we're getting ready for. Because believe me when I tell you, it's coming like a freight train. We are being overwhelmed with a tsunami of debt everywhere. Get more diversified. I tell everybody about gold. They're like, well, how much gold should I have? As much as you can get. That's how much. Minimum, an ounce for every year you've been alive, every year your wife's been alive, every year your kids have been alive, your grandkids. I mean, you want to do something for the grandkids? Yeah, that's what you should do. But what else can you do? Check out our friends over at Y-Refi. Up to 10.25 fixed rate of return. 10.25% fixed rate of return. I know a lot of people that are at, well, you can use it as income. Right? For some of you out there, maybe you're at that age, right? And you're like, hey, I've got this IRA and I got a ton of money in it. And Joe's right, I got this top heavy thing. Let me take some of that and lock in. Get 10.25% for the next 5 years, every year. Use it as income. Right? Hey, I can add it onto my Social Security, whatever it may be. You can compound it. What does that mean? I can just let it grow in there. I can just let it grow in there. Why am I telling you to check it out? Because it's not correlated to Wall Street. Pretty simple. That's really the reason. It's not correlated to Wall Street. Doesn't care about tomorrow. Doesn't care what Jay Powell says tomorrow. Doesn't care what the Bank of Japan says tomorrow. Doesn't care about bank earnings or magnificent sevens or anything else. You got to have a minimum of $50,000. You can use an IRA. You can use, some of you can use your 401k, money in the bank, whatever it may be. Just check it out. InvestYRefi.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com. Or just call them. It's the easiest thing to do. 888-Y-REFI-24. And, you know, we before we get to, by the way, Warren Buffett dumping Bank of America, we talked about it last week. He's still doing it. He is dumping bank stocks like, well, of course, he only picks like one bank at a time. But dumping there, be ready. Be ready here. But this JOLTS number today, it's a little shocking. I mean, government job postings is almost at an all-time record, and really would be outside of COVID. You know, when the COVID little thing hit, they had this little spike up. But government jobs now, think about this, guys, almost 1.1 million that they're trying to say they're looking to hire out here. It's just massive. When we think about what are all these government employees going to do, these are non-productive jobs. Of course, it doesn't say, it really won't say how many are for the IRS. I wish it would, right? I wish we would know. I got a bad feeling because the Treasury came out yesterday and they said, hey, we're going to need to borrow another $1.3 trillion before the end of the year. Now, here's the problem with that. Going to have to borrow more than that, because they always say that. But let's just say it's 1.5, 1.6 trillion. Right? That'll put us just under the 37 trillion, right? We're already over 35. I've been saying all year. I mean, the only question about the debt is whether or not we get to 37 by the end of the year. Remember what B of A said. That's going to be 40 trillion next year. Right? You could do math, right? You understand how big the problem is. And this is something where you got to remember quantitative tightening, that they stopped selling all those treasuries. That helped, thankfully. But could you imagine if they were still doing that, the 65 trillion or billion a month, what that number would look like? So it's actually, 1.3, like I said, 1.5, 1.6. The amount of short-term borrowing, now they're expecting short-term borrowing to hit a record, because that's borrowing where anything less than a year, the Treasury can just, we're just selling some, 6-year notes, 6-month notes, 3-month notes, 12-month notes. They have the regular auction schedule. The regular auction schedule only has maturities a year plus. So anything under that, it counts, but the Fed's kind of, hey, wink, wink, nod, nod with the Treasury. So they don't have to increase the auction size in August. They're going to sell all of this short-dated stuff. Now, maybe that could be a good thing. I don't know. How many rate cuts does Janet Yellen think are coming? How bad is the economy? How bad are the banks underneath it? It's interesting that they would choose to do this. But the amount of borrowing is just simply starting to become overwhelming. And this is during, listen, it's been a good economy. Let's not lie. I mean, it's because we're spending all this money. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? But it catches up here. And the Treasury's announcement yesterday really signified the borrowing just doesn't stop. We're talking about, hey, $1 trillion every 90 days, and they're saying 1.3, and I told you it's probably closer to 1.6. One more month. Here's the thing: by inauguration, whoever it's going to be, whether it's going to be Kamala, whether it's going to be Donald, we're going to be right up at that 37 trillion, and the only question will be is can we avoid 40 before the end of 2025? And this is the problem. This is truly the problem. Jamie Dimon, Moynihan from Bank of America, every major, they keep warning all of us. Keep warning. We're one shock away. What does one shock mean? Well, quite honestly, it just means, hey, something, a black swan, something unexpected, what have you. We have an auction, as we do every day, and not enough people show up. They say we're one shock away from the market not operating properly. Already, the Treasury is buying a couple $1 billion just to what? Try to make it appear like the markets are trying to operate properly. These are all great. Now, and again, they all act, it's okay, it's okay. It is okay until it isn't. It is okay until it isn't. And I just, again, taxes, debt collections, the need for the government to collect more money. Because let me lay it out for you. And I've done this a bunch, and I want you to really listen this time. Figure it out. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, defense, and an interest on the debt. Those 4 items are about, $1 trillion, maybe even, you know what? Hold on. Let me just, 1 trillion above the amount of taxes the government brings in. Of course, most of that is the FICA tax. Before we spend another dollar on anything, how much more revenue would be needed? Can we stop spending on defense right now? Heck no, we got wars everywhere. Right? Well, it's war. You going to cut Social Security? You going to cut Medicare and Medicaid? Really? Are you? Are they? these problems get bigger every single year. Listen, there's no trust fund. There's no $2 trillion or whatever they say is in this trust. It doesn't exist. They spent the money. Just gets added to the debt every single year. And the amount added just grows. It grows and grows and grows. Right? When you keep borrowing, listen, no offense, sorry, but if you borrow $2 or $3 trillion every single year, well, guess what? It's going to cost more. On top of, we pay out more in Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid than we bring in. Where's all the money going to come from? Where do you think it's going to come from? I'm just curious. What do you really think is going to happen? China, Russia, India, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Iran, and the list just grows, right? All these countries that want to be in BRICS. Think about it. Remember, I just rattled off, what was it the other day? Like 7 or 8 African countries now. Oh, yeah, we're going to start buying gold. Why do you think they're doing it? Because they want to go to BRICS. Where's it all going to come from, guys? Have you figured it out yet? Hey, get your gold and silver before the tax man comes looking for you. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe Jaquin Solo here today on this Tuesday. And I'm asking the question. After the Treasury announced more, just the number. You know, we've got August, September, October, November, December. Right? We got 5 months left. And they're already admitted, okay, we got to borrow 1.3. Wink, wink, nod, nod. And, maybe closer to 1.6. Right? Of course, what did they say about next year? Well, you know what they said? Well, we're going to have to increase auction sizes. They don't want to tell us how much yet. And right now, they're filling a gap by selling short-dated maturities. Billions and billions of dollars every week to make up the difference. But we're running into this huge issue now, where unless, I guess, World War III starts, things start to get really bad. And the private sector is saying, hey, you know what? We're good. We're good. We're not really hiring like we used to. It's going to be a significant problem. Why is Warren Buffett continuing to dump Bank of America stock? Guys owned the stock for like 13 years. I mean, he's been buying the stock. He's been buying the stock for like, I'm not kidding. I think all the way back like in 2010, he started buying it. I mean, just buy. Now he's just dumping it. And he sells so much, he's got to file it. How do I know? Because he has to file it. Because he's selling so many shares. Is he buying something? Nobody said no. No. Too much risk. We're building our cash, but there's too much risk. In other words, what he's saying is, I'm going to wait for the crash. I mean, understand what he's doing. Today's special, it's a good one. I like this one a lot. A $10 Liberty at $1,295. If you buy 20 or more, $1,290. But I'll do something kind of cool. Those Trump fight coins, I've got maybe 70 of them left. It's up to you. If you want, for every $10 Liberty you buy, You can throw a Trump coin in for $25. Now, if you want to buy 20 $10 Liberties, get the discount, but you only want one Trump coin, that's fine, $25. If you want to buy, 10 $10 Liberties and you want 10 Trump coins, the Trump coins are $25. I mean, silver right now is $28. So you're already way ahead. But you got to buy the gold piece to get it for $25. Otherwise, they're $35. But I only got like 70, 75, something like that left of the Trump coins. And then that's it. I'll be out of them. Of course, the Trump fight, it's got Donald Trump with his hand in the air. Remember when he got shot? He was doing fight. And the Secret Service is around him. If you want to go to allamericangold.com at the shopping cart, you can see it there. But $10 Liberties, 1 through 19, $12.95. That's $25 off. On top of it, Trump coin, $25. Tell you what, I don't care what you buy today. You buy anything today and you want a Trump coin, it's $25. How's that? There you go. You want to buy Silver Eagles, you want to buy those 20s that are on sale at $25.50, whatever it may be. Whatever you want. If you place an order today, you get Trump coin, $25, 800-951-0592. And we'll sit back here and wait. Right, for what is coming next. And when we sit there and we start looking at what is next, we talk about China and India and Russia, where we talk a lot about BRICS. But they do a lot of cross-border, right? That's what they've been doing right now. But the demand for physical things. A matter of fact, there's a big meeting in Brazil, China and Brazil. The Belt and Road coming to Brazil. We're going to see even more of these deals being signed. But according to sources inside mainland China, China has been buying unrefined silver concentrate from the metals and refiners that normally sell to London. Now, what does that mean? Unrefined silver concentrate. Well, for these miners and refiners to sell silver bars to London or New York, right? Somewhere where you can trade. Like when we talk about, hey, silver's over $28. Well, that's a silver contract that we're talking about. That's over $28. It's 1,000 ounces of silver. So these refiners, and some of the big miners refine their own, have to pour 1,000-ounce silver bars. Now, they're not 1,000 ounces. They're somewhere between 900 and, I think it's like 925 to 1,075, something like that. They doesn't have to be exactly, but it's got to be close. 1,000-ish bars. China's saying, tell you what, why don't you sell the concentrate to us? You don't even have to go through the expense of turning it into the bar. Just sell us the concentrate. And according to sources, China is paying the refined price for the concentrate. So think about this. Here you are, you're a miner. Well, I normally sell to London, and I sell it to London at this price. So let's just say it's $28. Well, they sell it to London. Maybe they're selling it to London, I don't know, for $27.75, something like, who knows? China's saying, we'll pay you that price. You don't even have to put it in the bar for us. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is really going on as they buy up all the gold And now we're hearing they're buying up all the silver. Patriot Radio News Hour will be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Shocking import data. This is all coming from import data. So this is something where, like I said, the same problem goes on in gold, right? We know China's lying about how much gold it's buying because we can see the imports. We know roughly what their mine supply is. Take silver as an example. China mines 3,500 metric tons of silver. I mean, something outrageous. I mean, that sounds like a crazy amount, but it's really not. But they need double that. They need double that. And what they're trying to do is, and it's really genius. Why would China do that? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Or does it? Because when they look at the price, they know, gosh, if we buy it after it's been refined and after it's been delivered to London, or maybe it's delivered to the COMEX, everybody will be able to see it, and it'll make the price of silver even more expensive. So it's actually pretty brilliant. They're like, well, we'll just buy it before they ever put it in the bar. It'll never get there. People won't know. Well, guess what? It took a while, but they found out. China has been importing thousands of metric tons this way as of late. In other words, they've stopped. Well, I don't know if they've stopped, but they don't like to buy it from the exchange now because the amount that they're buying, it's an incredible pace. And it seems like all the countries that want to join BRICS kind of does what China does. And what do they start doing? It takes a while, but then all of a sudden you hear 3 months later, 6 months later, numbers, oh, wait, we're buying gold, or we're national. How about Mexico? Talking about nationalizing their silver mines. And they got the new president in there. Yeah, they don't want it to leave the country anymore. Guys, I hope you're taking this serious. This is just what it is. And I know it's distracting. It's hot, right? You know, your kids are getting ready to go back to school, whatever it may be. You want to take the grandkids on vacation. Get your house in order here. These prices are super inexpensive. $10 Liberties, $1,295. 20 or more. $12.90. Anybody you buy anything today, a roll of dimes, a roll of Silver Eagles. I got Silver Eagles on sale today. You buy 20s. I don't care what you buy. If you want to buy Trump round, $25 if you buy something. If you don't, it's $35. If you just want the Trump fight round, $35. 800-951-0592. And if you don't think the middle class is disappearing, the standard of living is collapsing here in the United States, something happened. And listen, here's the problem. This is an old number. Old by a couple years. But this is how long it takes them to get it. Mike Shedlock did the research on this stuff. The amount of adults 25 to 35. 25, yeah, if you're graduating college at 25, you better be a doctor, right? That's a doctor, lawyer, right, type stuff, right? To 35. Remember there used to be that soap opera show at night, what was it, 30-something? Remember, 30-something, oh my gosh, I'm so hard. I'm married with kids, and I got my house and my job and my car payment. Yeah, no. Could you imagine if they remade it today? It'd be 30-something, and I live with my parents. More 25 to 35-year-olds live with their parents at any time in the United States going back to 1940. You heard me right. 1940. Now, here's the thing. I guess the Great Depression, right? We're entering in to those depression-like numbers. And here's the interesting part. In the 70s, it was only 7%. In the 60s, 8%. In the 80s, 8%. And then it went to 9%, then 10%, then 15%. Now we're approaching, and like I said, this couple of years old. Are we at 20%? Are we, we're almost at this point now where it's just kind of accepted, right? People are, oh, yeah, well, he's only 25. I mean, she's only 30, He's 34 and living in the basement. You haven't figured it out yet, have you? Remember, we talked about the inverted yield curve? How it's the longest inverted yield curve in the history of the United States, which means the next cycle is going to be worse than the Great Depression, because that's what it does. That's what it means. Still don't want to get prepared? You think China's just doing it because, and all these other countries now are doing it just because? 800-951-0592. Final segment coming up. Stay with us if you can take it. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour wrapping up this Tuesday. It's going to get very exciting starting tomorrow and through the rest of the week. Right now, the Dow getting ready to go negative here. It was the only thing up earlier. Right now, it's up 5. The Nasdaq's now down 40. Or I'm sorry, the S&P's down 40. The Nasdaq down 230. As we again, I think they're getting a little worried here. What are the big four magnificent seven? What are they going to say? What is Jay Powell going to say tomorrow? And really, I think this earnings season, we're just seeing the consumer staple stocks just getting pummeled here. And are these high-flying AI stocks going to be enough? We'll have to wait and see. $10 liberties, 1 through 19, $12.95, 20 or more, $12.90. Anything you buy today, if you want to add Trump rounds, $25. If you buy 10 $10 liberties, you want 10 Trump coins, I'll give them to you for $25 for 10. If you buy one, you get one. If you don't buy anything, the Trump rounds are $35. 800-951-0592. And we'll just wait and see how this week plays out. I mean, this is how we got to do it now. It's almost day by day, week by week as we watch. But all of that, set it all aside. I've said it over and over and over. It doesn't matter which one of these people win. I wish it did. Doesn't. See, we're locked in these, call them unfunded liabilities, whatever you want to call it. We've lived beyond our means, spent beyond our means. And now other countries want a spot at the table. See, it was fine when, Japan was the second largest economy at $5 trillion, which was nothing. It's not fine anymore. China's number 2, and really they're number 1 in terms of stuff. India now, right? Here they come. Right? All of a sudden, these countries want a bigger thing. They're tired of being bullied. I hate to say it, but that's just the truth. They're tired of being bullied. And all that means is the lower standard of living is here. And when this bubble breaks, it's going to get that much worse. And the Treasury, man, they just didn't help, did they? Because what did they say? Guys, we got to borrow more. We got to borrow more. How much more? Well, a lot more. What can you tell us about next year? Now we'll do that later. We don't want to tell you right now. If it was good news, they would have told us. I mean, right? If Janet Yellen had some good news, she would have said so. They don't. And this is why. It's no shock. Why is pretty much every country in the world is buying gold outside of what our little allies that want to try to hold on to power here? They're buying silver. They're buying physical things. They're diversifying away from European bonds, American bonds, Japanese bonds. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour, wrapping it up today. I'm coming back with the half-empty cup. It's going to be a good one. Stay with us. We'll be right back.